SPW was on Arise News to show his condolence on one of the staffs that was kidnapped and fired. So on the visit, he said so many things on the economy of Nigeria, from the insecurities down to how the government have failed to do the needful rather than focusing on the next election. Just take a listen and let me get your views in the comment section.
Earlier in the year, I went to visit a professor, Professor Lewis, in John Hopkins, who wrote Wine Growing Apart. If you Google it, you see, it's a book about Indonesia and Nigeria. Wow. How two countries with same trajectory. One grew this way and put their people out of poverty. The other one took their people into poverty. Because of that, through that connection, I was able to get opportunity to visit Indonesia for 1 week. Met from Minister of Education and say, how do you people have 90-something% literacy? Minister of Health, we met. They have 95% insurance. In fact, Indonesia have the best insurance today of any country you can think of. Once you're sick, you're cured. Every village have a functional primary health care with at least 2 nurses working there and a doctor that visits maybe 3-4 times every village, and they have 3 times number of villages we have, and it's functional. Met Minister of Small Village, met Minister of Small Businesses, met the Vice President, met the President Widodo. I just told children I went to his village to look for him, a president, and when I got there, where he lived, you can't park 2 vehicles inside there.
President?
No, I parked on the road, and I asked him, he said, I live there as local government chairman, I live there as governor, and 10 years after being president, I like living with the villages. And that's it. So, what is wrong with us? And I said, what do I do? He said he wants to know why I'm looking for him. I said, I came here for 10 years. I came to learn, what did you do? He said, Peter, fight corruption. Do not allow anybody to misuse public money.
That's all.
Invest it in education, in health, and pull your people out of poverty, and you see everything change.
Former Governor Peter Obi has continued to wield virulent followership across political divides, mainly because of his views on leadership. Well, for more on this, we're joined live in the studio by the Director of Strategic Communications of the Obedient Movement, Nana Kazari. Thank you for joining us, Nana.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
So we'll go straight into the heart of the issue. The leader of the Obedient Movement and the Labour Party former presidential candidate in 2023 has been making strong statements. He talked about the economic roadmap of Indonesia and how Nigeria has remained in poverty. You might want to expatiate a bit further on this.
Even recently, good morning, everybody, and I'd like to extend my condolences to the entire Arise News family on the loss of, a young, promising barrister, Somi Maduegu. My deepest condolences to you all. It was a needless loss, and I just pray for her family and the repose of her soul. Now, to the crux of the matter, it's unfortunate that Nigeria is where she's at. You heard His Excellency Peter Obi, when he said you can look at how the trajectory of Indonesia and Nigeria, we were on the same path. And one has led its people into prosperity, while in Nigeria, reverse is the case. I think on Sunday, he just recently wrote about 24 million out of school children. And when you look at it, I'm not a statistician, but if we have approximately 230 million Nigerians, and our youth population is about 70% of 230 million, that means we have about 161 million Nigerian youth under the age of 30. And if you have 24 million children that are out of school, we're talking, is it 14%? It's about 30, it's over 30%.
Okay.
Yeah, 24 million children that are out of school, 161 million Nigerians are youth. Do you understand? And then we now have 24 million. That's about 38%, and so those numbers are staggering. Nigeria has to tackle the matter of low education or no education and out of school children, because look at that in 10 years. Already countries are talking about AI, and Nigeria is not even in this playing field. When these children, assuming they're 10 years old now, in 10, 20 years from now, they will be adults without skill. So that means we haven't done anything about our manpower or development of human resource management. That in itself is scary. And when you called me this morning, let me tell you what crossed my mind when I accepted to come on the show. I just said to myself, 24 million ways to kill a country, and Nigeria has chosen one, a suicidal way. Do you understand? By not investing properly, successive bad governance in this country, not investing properly in education.
Are you not overly politicizing the numbers now? Because when you look at the government reform, they've initiated NEL Fund and many other
yeah, but then if we still have 24 million, we're talking about today, if we still have over 20 million Nigerian children out of school, this is not politics, this is real life. The destitution in Nigeria, the desolation, especially in is not politics. In northern Nigeria, where I come from, is real life. So I don't understand where you come from saying that. It's not about politics, it's about the life that we live. Right. Children are out of school. We don't have people who are properly educated. You can actually see that even His Excellency mentioned it, that a country like Indonesia has 90% health insurance. Right. Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. Unfortunately, Nigeria is still the highest when it comes to child and maternal mortality rate. How is that politics?
So Nana, you see, there is a lot of lamentation in Nigeria currently, especially as we just celebrated 65 years. Rightly so, some would say. But I would like to ask, Labour Party, what do you think Labour Party can do differently? Because Labour Party is always on the neck of the government, criticizing, and other parties as well. However, when you look at the Labour Party and also others, they are even unable to manage themselves from within.
Okay, so what
how can they manage the country?
My response to you there, Dr. Constance, is you're the one who's now politicizing this. I'm here as somebody who's a media person for the obedient movement. And so when you're now bringing it into party politics, I think it now takes away from the meat and the seriousness of education. Labour Party is not the party that's at the helm of affairs. So I don't understand why all of a sudden Labour Party is the one that is under your microscope.
But Labour Party
we should be talking about the failure of successive governments. We should be talking about the 10 years of APC's failure to be able to tackle poverty, child and maternal mortality rates. We should be talking about their failure in the educational sector, especially even in the health sector. Should we start to talk about insecurity?
Okay, so there's that. But Labour Party and other parties are also aspiring to come into governance. So my question is, in your sense, do you think they have what it takes, to win and do things
Nigerians in her entirety, because I've always said it, we're an exceptionally brilliant group of people. So yes, the Labour Party, and let's not forget the coalition of which I'm a member.
Yes.
The coalition, as well as other parties that have come together, well-meaning Nigerians, yes, we do have what it takes. And that is why we keep speaking and we keep highlighting this situation. The people who politicize, unfortunately, are those who are already in government, who have already put Nigerians in campaign mode. And I think putting Nigerians in campaign mode is quite unfair, because that means you're changing the goalpost, as we say in local parlance. What they want to do is ensure that, okay, Nigerians are concentrating more on the upcoming elections, as opposed to them being, asking them questions about whether or not they're doing right by Nigerians.
Right.
So that's where I stand on all of this.
Okay, I was just trying to ask so that we put everything in the context. I do not support out-of-school children, and I think that it's a serious concern, but I also think that we should bring all the facts into context. The federal government recently launched the Lumina program, in which it intends to address about 10 million out-of-school children to bring them back into the education fold. Would you say they are take that? Because many of these problems are overlapping problems from decades of past governance failures.
I said as much.
Failures of successful governance. So when you look at the response to this menace in the society, how would you assess the federal government response to this issue with the launch of a program like Lumina program for out-of-school
We've launched,
children?
Nigerians keep, the Nigerian government, and I'm glad you echoed what I said initially. We've launched and launched and launched. It will be good for us to take old programs that are good for the Nigerian people and develop on that, fix it. What Nigerians need right now is not the building of new things. I think it's not the building up of new. I think what Nigerians should be looking now is, what do we have existing that works for the people? What do we have existing? Because even when you look at the educational sector, is it time for Nigerians to begin to look, Nigeria's government, to begin to look at an overhaul of our curriculum so that it now includes vocational training and teachers and skilled training in entrepreneurship, so that we pull our people out of poverty. Children begin to understand and they can crunch numbers early and they can begin to have vocational training. I think Nigeria should be in a position where right now, if you don't allow your child to have the basic primary education, parents and guardians should have, there should be punitive measures for people who don't allow their children go to school.
All right, Nana, last week it was reported that over 180 schools are currently shut in the northern part of the country due to insecurity. You are a northern woman from Jigawa State specifically. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's sad, because my parents were big on education.
And the elites, their children are getting the education they need. The children even go out of the country and get the very best, and they can compete favorably with other counterparts all over the world. So and that's why I said, if the government doesn't step in and create punitive measures for parents who do not allow their children the basic primary education, then we'll just be going round and round in circles. Education is the backbone of the development of any country. And so it's unfortunate that northern Nigeria, beautiful, with beautiful cultures, beautiful people, fantastic part of Nigeria, the largest part of Nigeria is the one facing the matters of insurgency, insecurity. I believe if all these things can be resolved and resolved quickly, and your
then Nigeria will do well.
What about your governors? Do you think they have been responsible, or are they being held accountable? What can you do?
I do not think that our governors, and when I'm speaking as a Nigerian. So Nigeria in her entirety, it's not just about northern Nigeria. Our leaders are not being held accountable to where it is that they have dropped the ball over and over again, where they have failed Nigerians. We do have a case, which really stung, where a governor's wife thought it best to take 21 local government chairman wives to Turkey. And in my head, I'm thinking, what could that have done for internally displaced people in the state? What could that have done for education in the state? What could that have done to make sure that they have pipe-borne water, for example, in that state?
Just before we round up, listening to your leader, former Governor Peter Obi, he also emphasized so much on leadership. So talking about leadership, we need to find out, there seems to be a bit of uncertainty around which political party he belongs to. So could you tell us this? And also in addition, there was a response to Atiku Abubakar saying that he would only step down for a younger candidate that if a younger candidate defeats him, that he would be stepping down. And the response from your party was that they won't join hands in the dollarization of primaries. So I was just thinking in the practical terms now that if they are not sponsoring people for primaries, and most likely an indirect election would be adopted. So how do they fund the traveling to the primary center, to the convention, and also the hotel bills? Are they leaving the delegates to take care of this by themselves?
I heard you last week when you made this postulation, and I smiled.
Because I've been seeking for clarification, actually.
Well, when we get to that bridge, we'll definitely cross it. And the coordinator, Dr. Yunus Tanko of the Obedient Movement, has already made his stand known on that. And so it's not something I think we should belabor.
So which party is former Governor Peter Obi? Quickly.
As we speak, he's still a member of the Labour Party, and he's still a key component and member of the coalition that will eventually take this government out. I am in the opposition, and so I'm for the coalition 100%.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we do know that most people have not resigned from their party while they are still trying to find,
and that's fine.
Ways with discussing with other
absolutely.
parties to eventually make that decision. There's still time, I guess.
Absolutely, there is time.
This man, Peter B, is going to be the greatest loss in Nigeria history if he does not become our next president. Why I say so is because this man has given us a blueprint of what he intends doing in Nigeria. He has given a blueprint of what he wants to do to help this country called Nigeria. Because right now, I don't think we are moving forward, rather we are going backward, because the level of insecurity in Nigeria is alarming. Where a staff can be kidnapped and pied. A lot of people have been kidnapped and pied. And the worst part is that many of them will pay the ransom, and yes, they will end up being pied. What is the government saying or doing about it? That's a very, very important question to be asked. Because it's happening every day. And yes, the government came out and was saying that the level of insecurity in Nigeria have reduced. Have reduced to where? How? Where a staff of Arise News was kidnapped and pied. Do you know what a great loss that was? A very vibrant lady. Then what is the government doing about the insecurity in Nigeria? This is the reason why we need someone that can tackle this issue of insecurity without looking backward with corruption. Because the reason why we have insecurity in Nigeria is corruption. Where those that are meant to be tackling it are busy collaborating with the bandits themselves. Where the government went ahead to have a peace talk with bandits. Peace talk with bandits, but yet you have Nnamdi Kanu arrested and detained for how many years over something that he did not even do, because they called him a terrorist because he said that Nigeria have expired. That was his only crime. And now again, and that soul was lost. Many have been lost. When is this going to end? It's going to end when the right people are in office. Don't forget to views in the comment section. Guys, on my next video, don't forget to subscribe. It's your boy again. Stay tuned, guys, to my next video.